Let's take a look. So we've got from JD, from Nibbs, we've got the Lapras, which we know he likes, as well as Tyranitar. New to the meta, Alolan Marowak. We got Togekiss, Rillaboom, and also new to the meta, Porygon 2.
And then Amy's got Porygon 2, Terrakion, Incineroar, Indeedee, Azumaril, and Alakazam.
Yeah, so some interesting things. I think we're going to see a lot of the new things showcased here, whether it's Terrakion, which there's been a lot of talk and speculation about kind of how dominant this thing might be in the meta.
Yeah.
But you've also got the Psy-Span that's sitting right there with Indeedee and Alakazam, both of which learn Expanding Force, which is a really interesting new move that under Psychic Terrain will be a spread move as opposed to a single target.
Yeah, it's a spread move and it increases its damage power. So it's already 80 base power, but then it goes beyond that and it does a lot. And like Alakazam, despite being like super duper frail, does a lot of damage. Amy's got that Sick Crown.
Oh yeah, Sick Crown as well as the brand new DLC clothing options. Oh, we see a shiny Porygon 2. I feel like that's just there to show up Nibbs.
Put him to shame.
Yeah, so this is... No, go ahead.
Yeah, I really like Amy's lead here. It gives her the option to switch in Indeedee and get the Psychic Terrain set up so that Nibbs can't take that away from her and she can just go for like Psy-spamming stuff. Also gives her the option of Trick Room if she feels like that Alakazam kind of like can't cut it and like can't keep the speed options, but I'm very interested to see what both of them go for.
Yeah, so I don't know if you just saw this or not, but Amy's Porygon 2 was Trace, and it traced the download and it still managed to get the download, which I think is a very...
the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so, and as you speculated, she went ahead and withdrew that Porygon 2 for instead of the Indeedee here, so able to go for that spread move, Expanding Force, and also able to block a Grassy Glide.
Yeah, that's really good. But however, Nibbs is just going for a Dynamax, potentially a Gigantamax with the Rillaboom. Oh yeah, it is G-Max Rillaboom.
Yeah, I was helping Nibbs obtain this team in game today quite a bit. We spent a while. I ended up having to get something to level 100 for a bottle cap for him. But we do see that Expanding Force. It does a good chunk of damage, but not quite as much as I might have expected.
Honestly, I was thinking that was really, really solid damage on like a bulky Pokemon like Rillaboom. I don't know if we know the item on Rillaboom. It could be Assault Vest. Like that's a good chunk out of its Dynamax.
Yeah. And
Porygon is also extremely bulky with the Eviolite. So Nibbs is going to set up Trick Room, get rid of the fastest thing on the field, lower the special attack of Indeedee. So I'd say this is like a fairly solid turn from his end.
Yeah, I'm just curious here, looking, kind of observing the rest of Amy's team. Who else wants to be operating in Trick Room other than Porygon 2?
Do you think it's going to trace Grassy Surge?
Oh, the trace coming through and being very painful, because now you have a Rillaboom with Grassy Surge. It won't be the first thing moving. Presumably Porygon 2's carry Ice Beam, so that can hit super effective.
Man, oh no, Amy just gave Rillaboom like even more of an attack boost.
That's rough. I'm not going to lie, that's quite rough. And then Nibbs is pretty free to kind of go for whatever. The other thing to note is not only does he have the not only does Nibbs have that Grassy Surge, he also, with a G-Max Rillaboom, has access to 160 base power attack.
Further boosted by Grassy Terrain.
Yeah. So that thing will hit hard whenever he eventually does do a Grassy attack.
So nice bit of chip from that Ice Beam.
Yeah, the only thing I'd be very afraid of if I was Nibbs right now might be a freeze.
Yeah, that would definitely... I'd say that, like, freeze is the most, like, tilting way to lose a match ever.
Yeah. So, Indeedee is staying relatively protected from that max darkness, given its protect on that turn. So, the positioning right now is interesting. I think that Rillaboom's going to end up underspeeding a good chunk of the rest of Amy's team, especially given the fact that she sent her Porygon out there. I think that's also probably the most effective move if she didn't bring, say, Incineroar. But she also might be saving Incineroar for a fake out once it's undynamaxed.
So on the positive side for Amy, she hasn't taken any damage on her Porygon 2. She's hitting the last. Ooh, if this was a grass move into that Indeedee slot, this could be really scary.
Yeah, unless it's Sap Sipper, that is a possibility. Hey, Zekrom Zeke, thanks for the follow.
Oh, Zeke's following, awesome.
Yeah.
Ice Beam, getting that Rillaboom down to below half, and stalling out Dynamax, and let's see, Max Darkness. Azumaril takes that fairly well.
Hey, CG Jaws, thanks for the follow.
Getting all sorts of follows today.
Yeah, that Max Darkness there, not going to do a whole lot to an Azumaril. The thing about Azumaril is it's also 50 base speed, so it's pretty slow when you compare it to, say, a Rillaboom. I think clocks in at what? Is Rillaboom 60 or?
Rillaboom is base 85
base
speed.
85,
It's
okay.
the exact same speed as Indeedee.
That's right.
So we've got 2 turns of Trick Room left. Grassy terrain is on the field, so Nibbs is free to go for a Grassy Glide into that Azumaril. Unless, of course, Amy realizes this and decides to switch Indeedee out. That may have been like kind of a double reason why she switched down to Azumaril, not lose them on, and also regain the terrain in your favor.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to see the terrain change happen right here.
Also, that is a shiny Azumaril, and it is adorable.
Yeah, Amy coming through with the great shinies here. Both the Porygon 2 and the Azumaril.
Rillaboom's gonna switch out for Lapras.
Interesting.
Ooh, no, oh my god. Okay, if this is Azumaril, I think this is a very gutsy move.
Yeah.
Like, that could have just eaten up a Grassy Glide. I mean, like...
Unless she is running Sap Sipper, that is a potential... That is the hidden ability. I don't
That
think
is
anyone
true.
runs it over huge
power. Yeah.
I don't know.
Steel Spike. I like it. Into the Lapras. That...
Oh.
Yes, it is a ball of beautiful sunshine.
It really is, yeah.
Oh man, and Porygons looks like they're just gonna be content to exchange Ice Beams. If this goes into the Lapras there, it's not gonna take... Oh no, yeah, just Porygon exchanging blows with each other. That Max Steel Smite did a lot to Lapras on the way in. That probably is unideal, but Lapras could have Freeze Dry, get a solid chunk on that Azumaril. So, last week we did this, Chase brought an Azumaril, and JD Nibbs did not have a lot of answers to it. And you and I were both surprised by how strong it was.
Yeah.
Do you think that Azumaril can, like, pull this back and just, like, take out the entirety of Nibbs' team?
I mean, there's a shot. We've seen some of the other mons. I don't want to speak too much to it, but given kind of the team composition, I think as long as... we see an ally switch come out from Nibbs' Porygon 2. The Max Starfall.
I hope that a Max Lightning happens. What? That did so much!
That did a lot to an Eviolite Porygon 2. Wow. Yeah, so I think what's really going to come down to is who controls the terrain. Ooh, interesting. Eerie Impulse. A move you don't see a whole lot. It's essentially a charm, but for special attack.
Freeze Dry did not do that much.
Yeah,
and we are out of Trick Room now.
Yeah, and out of Trick Room, you're going to see the Lapras probably moving first. Nibbs has got some interesting plays he could pull out right here.
He looks like he's tempted to hit one of my favorite moves in the game. Let's wait till see it come out to see what actually happens.
Yeah,
The glorious, glorious Perish Song. I love Perish Song so much. It's one of my favorite ways to close out a game.
Yeah, so at this point, Amy's on a timer with both of her mons. She can cycle and switch them both out, but she's going to have to lose momentum in order to do that. So, foregoing these boosts of the Max Steel Spike, which looks like Porygon is going to live on just a hair. So both those Pokemon are +2 defense over on Amy's side, but they're also on a 3-turn timer.
Yeah, this is really solid. I don't think... I mean, like, maybe Nibbs will be able to get a KO with this. It could definitely happen. But it pressures Amy to give up the boost that she just worked very hard to get.
Yeah, and I don't think that without the boost, either of them are going to live a Grassy Glide. So yeah, I'm curious to see here what both the players go for, whether we see a turn 1 switch out on one of the Mons, trying to maybe preserve that Azumaril for later, or if we see the Porygon 2 come back. We do see an immediate switch out from Lapras, which was the fastest thing on the field, so not surprising that that's going first. But yeah,
okay. Azumaril's gonna switch out. I think that's smart. You want to preserve whatever's doing damage. I mean, Porygon 2 is great, but and it can definitely like win matches if it's one of the last ones left by just spamming recover and attacking consistently. But Azumarill is definitely going to be doing way more damage than Porygon 2 is.
Yeah, and I think in this case, Nibbs is in an incredible spot because he just forced the terrain out as well. So now he has control of the terrain next turn. Amy could read into that and could go for a move that might make it way more difficult for that Rillaboom, or Nibbs could just sit around and wait until either the Porygon's timer is up or anything else. I'm presuming that we might see a switch here from Amy back into the Azumaril.
Which, and if she doesn't, that means that she either switches next turn. Okay, yeah, she switches now, or she loses her Porygon 2. So, solid choice, switch, get rid of that Pair Song. But JD is still in the position where he can just, Expanding Force.
It's not going to affect Tyranitar. I think I saw what Nibbs went for, and I'm not sure I agree with the play.
Why so?
Well, I guess, I suppose, like, my main fear is the speed tiers between Azumaril and Tyranitar here, because now under Trick Room, I think that Azumaril outspeeds Tyranitar.
Yeah, Azumaril underspeeding Tyranitar. They do have quite the gap in speed. There's always, this is going to be a great learning experience.
Yeah.
May not figure it out this turn, but so with Perish Song pressure, Nibbs only has to get one more KO, and then he can just win the game from there.
Yeah, exactly. With the secondary Perish Song, it looks like he's going to go ahead and go to position himself to get the Lapras back in here. But yeah, I'm interested to see where this is going to go. Both the Indeedee and the Azumaril are at very low HP. Presumably that Rillaboom, without the Indeedee switching out, will be able to come in and Grassy Glide out the Azumaril or the Indeedee, either one, and then allow Perish Song to...
Helping Hand.
What do you think this is right here?
My guess would be a Helping Hand liquidation into the Tyranitar.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna... Play Rough.
Or Play Rough.
That makes sense as well.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty rough turn there for Amy, bringing Azumaril further down. We do see that Indeedee also is taking damage there, which tells us it's not in fact a safety goggles Indeedee. I don't know if I saw the items at any point. It also hasn't procced a berry either, so I've seen some Focus Sash Indeedee as well lately, so I don't know, I'm just speculating.
I really think that Nibbs is going to want to try and preserve Lapras as long as he can, because it just makes it easier to get through Porygon 2. Yeah. Porygon can be really, really annoying if it's the last one. It takes hits really, really well. It can just spam recover. Moves like Close Combat and Superpower are usually your best way to hit it, but those drop your stats, so it makes it easier for Porygon 2 to do things against you.
Yeah, so it looks like Nibbs is... and that's the thing, I didn't see a move where Azumaril could KO that Lapras.
Alright, so there we go, the Indeedee is down, and now Nibbs is just free to Perish Song, and honestly, Azumaril may just go down to the Sandstorm in the next couple of turns.
Yeah. Nibbs would be able to reset that Sandstorm. I think we're coming up on the end of it, because I think we've seen about 3 or 4 turns of it. I think we might have one more turn, and so the damage won't come through there. So, interesting strat. This is, a little bit longer of a game, but that Porygon having the much higher... It now has
Shell Armor.
So some interesting information gain from having that ability to... so as Nibbs nicely shows us, there's 1 turn left of Sandstorm, 1 turn left of Trick Room, and then 1 more turn of the terrain as well.
I think this turn, if you're Amy, you definitely got to double that Lapras. You really don't want it setting up another Perish Song. Ooh.
Interesting.
Just picking up the KO on Porygon.
Yeah.
Well, you know what is another option? If that Perish Song goes off, and Amy can successfully KO everything that isn't the Lapras, Porygon 2 can always just set the speed by Trick Rooming and be the last Pokemon to die, making Amy the winner.
Yeah. I think it's going to be tough because Nibbs has the ability here to reset that sand, and he can also freely switch in and out.
Yeah.
Having 3 Pokemon to play around with makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, I think if you're Amy, your main way of winning right now is Nibbs messing up on the Perish Song in-game.
Yeah. Yeah, and here, presumably, that is not a... I mean, Nibbs has the speed already on that Azumaril, so he doesn't even, you know... He can functionally do whatever he wants to KO that there. I think that most hits will KO into that.
Yeah, so there's a Grassy Glide, getting the priority from the grassy terrain. Sick move.
Yeah. Arguably one of the most... I think it's going to be one of the most impactful moves in the meta upcoming.
Oh yeah, it's super nice. Like, it's great for Trick Room. It's always boosted by the terrain. Rillaboom got a lot of tools recently. Oh my god, that does nothing. Oh, and the freeze.
And the freeze. Just to add insult to injury here.
Yeah.
So at this point, Nibbs is pretty free to just switch out that Lapras and preserve it for guaranteed win con.
Yeah. I don't even think, honestly, that Porygon 2 has a way of hitting Tyranitar well.
Yeah.
Porygon 2 looks so sad frozen.
I know. The fact that they do the animations where it freezes in place, I find hilarious. Similar to the sleep animations, because they do sleep animations as well.
Yeah, they're like eyes are closed. It's always my favorite part, because like whenever I'm like, I hope that they don't get a one-turn wake, and then the angry eyes open up, and I'm like, oh god, no!
Yeah, so that is our game 1. A much longer drawn-out game than the hyper-offensive kind of setup of both you and Trey's first round, so...
Oh yeah, I think me and Trey were both not only playing teams that are very offensive, but like we were playing in ways that were like, we're either gonna lose this in 3 turns or win it in 3 turns.
Yeah, that was definitely a rough game for Amy there. So, what if you're Amy? What do you think some of the adjustments you might make?
I don't know. I think losing Alakazam pretty early was obviously unideal. I think the only thing that she needed to do was just not let Lapras set up that first Perish Song. It ended up being kind of like way worse for her than I think she would have thought. Obviously, like with all those boosts and how much damage Azumaril does, it could have been like pretty easy for her to just kind of like solo the game out with those two, but having to force to switch it out and lose all of your boost obviously is unideal.
Yeah, that Perish Song play was incredible. Just forcing out the boosted Pokemon. So yeah, here we see the adjustments. I'm kind of curious. Something I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen a Terrakion yet on our stream specifically. No, I take that back. I brought Terrakion last week.
Oh yeah.
Shows you how much I paid attention to the rental that Chase generated for me. Speaking of which, I don't even know the team I'm about to play. So this will be fun.
Yes.
But yeah, so some information we gained from that last game. We still don't know the item on that DD. We don't know the item on Azumaril, but my guess right now is going to be an Assault Vest.
It was soaking up those special hits pretty well, so I wouldn't be surprised about that. I also never saw it go for any type of protecting or status move, so that's not unreasonable.
Yeah. We saw the Alakazam go down in 1 hit, so that's not holding the Focus Sash, right?
Yeah, it also didn't take any recoil from the Expanding Force from memory, so I don't think it has Life Orb either. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Focus Sash and DD.
Yeah, I think that I've seen more of that lately, especially with the Expanding Force kind of being able to guarantee that you get off
an Expanding Force, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Incineroar and Terrakion.
Alright, this is interesting.
Togekiss and Tyranitar.
Incineroar doesn't get beat up, correct?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I'm unsure, although I think it'd be hilarious to see Incineroar beat up that Terrakion.
Yeah, no, it really would be. I don't think that that's a threat here, but it's something I was thinking. Like, whenever I see Justified, I just think, alright, who has beat up?
Yeah. This is honestly pretty scary from Nibbs' end, I think. Obviously, Incineroar is pressuring Fake Out. Terrakion, very strong fighting type, can just slam those fists into Tyranitar as hard as it wants.
Yeah.
You can try to Dynamax to survive, but, like, what are you getting out of that?
Yeah, no, I agree. Terrakion threatening both of Nibbs' Pokemon on the field right now is gotta be a pretty terrifying position, especially with that -1 on his Tyranitar. So it looks like we're gonna see a turn 1 switch out from that Togekiss into a Rillaboom.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we see the Grassy Surge animation proc. Next up, we see a turn 1 Dynamax. Do you think it's Incineroar, or do you think it's Terrakion?
I'd be willing to bet Terrakion, although I do love the cat, so...
It is in a Pokeball, so that's why I was asking.
Ooh, those muscles.
Yeah, that big horse.
Terrakion is Teraki thick. That didn't work at all, and I apologize to everyone who had to listen to me.
Yeah, I think you actually owe everyone else $5 now. So,
DM me on Discord. I'll give you $5.
We are seeing from the chat that Incineroar does not, in fact, get beat up, so...
Thank you, chat. We're back times.
Yeah, that was the Kakaturosu, so thanks again, Rozzy. So that Max Knuckle into the Tyranitar is interesting, especially when there's a Togekiss on the field threatening Follow Me.
Yeah, not even Fake Out. Gutsy move. I like it.
Yeah. Went for the parting shot. Oh, into the...
Oh my god, that's brilliant! Now you can just bring Incineroar and just get rid of the weakness policy boost if it has it. That covers for, like, so many options.
Yeah, that is pretty incredible.
Porygon 2.
Alright, so the Grassy Surge has reprocced because of the trace, interestingly enough.
Well, there's no ability that Porygon could have traced that would have been helpful there.
Yeah, exactly. It was either Sandstorm or Grassy Terrain. I find it interesting if it goes Catty Corner.
So, now, if you're Amy, I'm sure you don't want to take a G-Max Drum Solo or a Grassy Glide.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ignore Tyranitar as a threat at this point? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that you have to prioritize damage on that Rillaboom. I don't know in terms of coverage if Terrakion's got anything that can really hit that Rillaboom super hard, but being in the position where I think we're going to see Incineroar trying to bring... So now that's a -2 Rillaboom.
Yeah, and Tyranitar's back down to neutral.
Was the parting shot into the Rillaboom or into the Incineroar?
It was into Rillaboom, because Tyranitar protected.
Oh yeah, that's right. The original, Intimidate. So functionally, its entire boost is gone now, and I mean this G-Max Drum Solo 160 base power is nothing to scoff at, but I don't know how much it's going to do at -2.
Yeah, I mean it still gets the terrain boost. I don't think it's going to KO, but I would imagine it does quite a solid chunk. This Terrakion is just getting stronger and stronger, though.
Yeah, that's now +2 on from Max Knuckle boosts. No defensive boosts, it's worth noting, so a crit here would be pretty terrible.
Yes. Is there ever a good time for a crit?
When you only have 10 health left, yes.
That still does a lot.
And that was not a crit right there. That did so much. 160 base power, boosted, in fact, so, like, I think even with another parting shot here, I think it's going to KO.
Yes. Well, on the plus side, Amy does have control of the speed.
Yes.
She has reestablished Fake Out pressure. And Terrakion is a +2. So I think the question is, does a +2 Max Rockfall KO Rillaboom at full health?
Yeah, I mean, that is a good question. I don't know that it does. My inclination would be to say no, but I also don't know how much bulk that Nibbs has invested into this specific Rillaboom. We haven't seen it use anything other than attacking moves so far. We've seen a grass move, we've seen a bug move, we've seen a dark move from it, so we don't know what that fourth move is. It could be Protect, or it could be Assault Vest, and it could be another type coverage. So Incineroar is just going to opt for the straight switch
keep
out.
on cycling the Incineroar.
Yeah, but didn't opt for the the parting shot, which it wouldn't have gotten off anyway. So
got Grassy Surge again.
Yep.
Max Guard.
Oh, interesting play. I like that play because the only problem is that Rillaboom will still have one more turn of Dynamax. It will be at -3, sure, but now that Terrakion won't be Dynamaxed anymore, so I don't think it's going to live.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. But on the plus side, Terrakion is still a threat that Nibbs can't ignore. Like, even if he chooses to predict Incineroar coming back in, he kind of has to go for the drum solo here because it's +2.
Yeah.
And if you're Amy, you can just be like, okay, well, Terrakion's going to die this turn. I could just go for a Rock Slide and get as much damage out as, like, I possibly can.
Yeah, especially under that Togekiss. Like, a Rock Slide is just going to KO that Togekiss.
She can just go for, like, Rock Slide Trick Room, like, get the speed in her advantage depending on what she has in the back.
Yeah, so far we've only seen Incin, and I think that that's it. So we see an interesting play here. Oh, the Terrakion gets withdrawn for the Incineroar.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense to preserve the Terrakion.
Yeah. And then we saw a move from Nibbs here that I think is interesting with the Protect on Togekiss, which I think is the right call. In the face of a +2 Terrakion, you don't want to have to be praying for Rock Slide misses. But then a Max Darkness into the Porygon 2.
Yeah, I like it. Oh, and a crit, too.
Got a crit, which is nice. Overriding that -3.
Which is funny, because, like, as that happened, I was like, oh, that did a lot of damage to Porygon, too. That was weird, so that makes sense. But Amy does get Trick Room up, and Incineroar's on the field. Grassy Glide is nice, but at -3, I mean, maybe if he crits it again, it can take out the Porygon, too.
Yeah.
But at -3, it's definitely not.
I think here, Nibbs is pretty safe to just go ahead and switch that out. He doesn't want to deal with his -3. Like, reset, get back to the point where you're not going to be taking that.
U-turn's a kind of risky way to do that.
I agree here. We'll see how it works out. I don't know.
Interesting moves. Burning Jealousy.
Oh.
I like it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Incineroar is not the most specially offensive Pokemon, but yeah, still, it's a cool move.
Yeah, so Nibbs goes for the Safeguard here to go ahead and protect his Pokemon from any kind of status. I guess he's afraid of that freeze from an ice.
I mean, it doesn't hurt. Like, if you don't super have a lot better to do.
Yeah.
He's bringing in Lapras. That has a positive matchup against Incineroar. He cannot Perish Song right now, though.
No, there's far too many Pokemon remaining. And there's not really anything with any boosts on the field as well, so it doesn't get you a ton. Other than if you really feel like your board positioning is bad with Porygon 2 on the field, that's about it. Yeah, I find it interesting that he's brought this G-Max Lapras and not gone for a Max Resonance yet.
Oh man. Sorry, I'm a little sleepy. Let's see. I would assume that if Amy set up Trick Room, that means that she has Azumaril in the back.
Yeah. Looks like we're going to get that parting shot into the Follow Me.
Also, this Incineroar is slower than the Lapras, which is good to know.
Yeah, it is really good information, so. Depending on what
I have so many matches with, like, my Incineroar. Here's the Ball of Sunshine.
Yeah, let's see. Did Nibbs call it and go for a, that is now a -3 special attack Togekiss.
No, it's -5 now, right? That's the second Eerie Impulse that's gone into it.
Oh, it is? Okay, I missed the first one. Okay, yeah, and the Hydro Pump not going to be doing a whole lot. But I think the threat of Freeze Dry now feels a little bit scary if you're Amy, especially with Follow Me redirection still being around. I don't know any move that Azumaril can pull out that will KO Togekiss.
It does have a Steel move. It presumably has Iron Head. We saw Steel Spike last game,
yeah. Yeah, you're right. So I think that, can we confirm that that's likely an Assault Vest based on the moves we've seen? Because we saw Fairy, we saw Water, we saw Steel, and I suppose it could still be one other. But
my guess would be Iron Head, Play Rough, Liquidation, and Aqua Jet.
Yeah.
Play Rough, interesting.
Yeah, interesting indeed. I think an Iron Head would have KO'd there if that's what it had. The Ice Beam will do a pretty good chunk here as well.
Potentially worried about a Babiri Berry. Also, maybe she aimed for the Lapras, saying like, okay, if you follow me, I double up into you and do a lot of damage, but if you don't follow me, I take a good chunk out of your Lapras this turn.
Yeah. So,
which could be withdrawing Azumaril. Presumably this is going to be Incineroar.
Yeah. So, Amy's doing a really good job of cycling through her team and kind of resetting her board position this game.
Mm-hmm.
We see a Protect come out from the Togekiss.
Yeah, Ice Beam's going to go into there, not get the KO. Does this Porygon 2 have Recover? Did we see it last game?
I believe we did see Recover last game. And then that...
Okay.
That's not going to do a whole lot of anything, but we are now outside of Trick Room, so we know that Lapras is the fastest thing on the field.
Uh-huh.
So short of a raw switch out on that Incin, it's probably going down, and if you're switching out, I don't know what's coming in that wants to take a Hydro Pump if it hits. Terrakion probably doesn't want to take that. Azumaril...
Do you reset up Trick Room at this point? So Rillaboom's going to be threatening Terrakion, so I think the only way you can bring it back out... Ooh, Fake Out. Is that going to KO? Nice!
Just enough to KO. Perfectly EV'd Fake Out.
Perfectly EV'd Fake Out, yes.
Oh, and it looks like Nibbs went for the read into that Incineroar going for a freeze right. Oh, and he gets the freeze. Oh, that is 2 for 2 games with freeze, and that's... You hate to see that.
Well, actually... I'd say if anything gets frozen, you'd want it to be Incineroar.
It's true, yeah. Using a fire move will thaw it out regardless.
Actually, we haven't seen Flare Blitz on this Incineroar.
Yeah, we've only seen that Burning Jealousy.
Does Burning Jealousy thaw you out?
I thought that using a fire type move of any type thawed you out, but that's a mechanics question I haven't dove as deeply into as I would have thought.
As someone who loves fire types very much, I can say, very upsettingly, it is not every fire type move, it's only certain ones. Flare Blitz will thaw you out, Flamethrower will as well, I believe. Heat Wave does not.
Okay. That's good information. So
Yeah, keep that. My guess is with that switch out that she does not have a Flare Blitz on there.
Or presumably doesn't know about that mechanic. Which is fair. So
sick dodge from Azumaril.
Yeah. And the Porygon 2 is going to go ahead and flinch. So it feels like maybe... did Nibbs reset the grassy terrain?
Yeah, Rillaboom just came back in.
Yeah,
it had been gone turns before.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't in a position where he came in and it terminated the end of that turn.
Personally, if this were me, if I were to ever read Incineroar coming back in, it would be this turn.
Yeah.
Maybe that would lose me the game, but this is when I'd go for it. It looks like, yep, there it is.
So it looks like Nibbs went for the kind of safer play here, where he went for both targeting into that Incin spot. But yeah, I think if you're Amy, you want to cycle that Intimidate as many times as you can on the Rillaboom, and try and keep your Terrakion safe from Grassy Glide for as long as possible.
Yeah. Because I'd say if you can mitigate the damage from this Rillaboom / stall out the grassy terrain.
I guess that Eerie Impulse is really putting in work now.
There's no recovery barrier on it, so I would assume that Frozen Incineroar looks hilarious. He's like trying to threaten you, like, come on, come and get me, as I stay perfectly still.
Yeah, so man. That Incin living, Eerie Impulse really pulling its weight. It's a move I haven't seen a ton of yet on Porygon, so very interesting.
Drawing Incineroar, come back. Just gonna cycle through those Intimidates. I mean, you probably want to go for a parting shot, and I mean, like, Incineroar is basically dead weight at this point. Like, anything will kill it. This next turn, if you wanted, you could like freeze dry Azumaril and Grassy Glide it, and that just like, that would kill Incineroar. Ice Beam.
Yeah, interesting. We don't see the Trick Room being reset. I think Amy's thinking for her endgame of Terrakion in this case, where seeing if she can get as many Intimidates down on this Rillaboom before stalling out the end of the grassy terrain. And Nibbs is going to have to make a play to eliminate one of these two mons.
I think it'd be smart to just double up into Azumaril. You either kill Azumaril or you get a KO this way, like no matter what you do. Yeah. You didn't have to like read the Incineroar. In fact, it's probably better to just like go for this because this way you don't risk missing a Hydro Pump.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the only potential problem with Amy's plan, it has been something that I've been a victim to many, many times. When you play the game of, let me see, I'm just going to drop your attack and stall this game as long as possible till I can KO, is that you open yourself up to crits.
Yeah.
Like, the longer a match goes on, the more likely you are to get a critical hit, and it is the worst feeling in the world. Also, Incineroar is still not dead, so I guess I was wrong. You needed to read the Incineroar switch in.
Yeah, I think you needed something other than the Grassy Glide. Perhaps a knockoff into that would have... I don't know if knockoff was doing a whole lot other than... But yeah, this game, we might be in for a little bit of a long one here.
Yeah. Get comfortable.
Amy's in a really strong position. That Incineroar lives again. It looks like Nibbs might just be going for a double freeze strategy here. I'm not quite sure.
Incineroar thaws out on the first turn that it actually goes for a move. This is amazing.
And the parting shot. So now that Incineroar is... or that Rillaboom is a what? At minus...
minus
5?
4?
4? Maybe we can get Nibbs to show us.
Yeah.
We'll
Azumaril.
And that thing just keeps regaining health from the grassy terrain. 4 or 5, yeah. And that Eerie Impulse, I think that the Lapras, I'm not sure that its special attack can go any lower at this point.
Yeah. Rillaboom still has a good amount of health on it. Incineroar's, you may have to hope for a Hydro Pump miss. We're actually about to get to timer, and Amy could actually solidly win this for the timer.
Yeah, having that win condition in her back pocket, she still has all 4 of her mons, while JD is down to his last 2, and both of them aren't threatening a whole lot of damage here.
Yeah. So I'd say you can just keep rotating in and out of Incineroar, keep getting Intimidates. I think at this point, because things have gone so long, JD needs to get crits.
Yeah.
Oh, and the grassy terrain's gone.
But Grassy Glide is still going to end up going first outside of Trick Room. We see another Freeze Dry coming in here to the Porygon too.
Ice Beam. This means Terrakion can just come in safely at this point, though.
Yeah. Rillaboom down to almost no health.
Yeah, play rough, doubling into the Rillaboom. If you don't kill it, you get the game. Amy actually is the one to get a crit.
Oh, that's rough. Rough luck for JD there. So we do see the 2 minutes till the battle ends. I don't see a win con here for JD, but you know, we'll see if he keeps fighting.
Feels bad, like with the Lapras at full health.
just he's Hail Marrying right there. I don't know if you just saw what he clicked, but he's gone for
Parasol.
Which is a guaranteed losing
JD.
position.
That is recover from Porygon. Oh no.
At this point, Amy can just leave these 2 mons in to die.
Yeah.
And let Lapras KO itself.
That does half. Nice.
That is good information, though, for Game 3, that a play rough from this Azumaril does about half. Do you think there's potential that this Azumaril might be banded?
We've seen it switch attacks, right? Oh, I guess it could be banded.
I don't think that we have seen it switch attacks without switching out first. I think if we see a play rough right here, we might go ahead and see... That's some information for Game 3.
Play rough again, yeah, you may be right. It could be banded.
Yeah, I mean...
That would make the lack of Iron Head into Togekiss that turn make a lot more sense. That way you're not locking yourself... You're locking yourself into, like, your biggest stab move.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what a Game 2. A 4-0 sweep for Amy there.
That is... honestly, like, when Incineroar got frozen, I was like, oh, this is a really bad position for Amy, but, like, way to make me look super wrong. Like, that was an impressive comeback. Just keep rotating. Do you think in this next game that, like, Nibbs needs to get more aggressive with reads? It's scary. Like, you know that, like, okay, there's a solid chance that they come back in. but if I'm wrong, then I can't gain any momentum off of that. Also, my gum lost its flavor during that game.
Oh no. Tragic. Sorry, one sec. Yeah, no, I think that I think that Nibbs might have to be more aggressive. I think there was several turns where the safest move was for Amy was to switch out, and I think that letting that Incineroar continue to live really hurt him in the end game with Rillaboom. Like, he had to pressure to get that Terrakion back out so that he could get the Grassy Glide without being at -4. CG Draws doesn't think that was banded. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to figure out in the post game kind of what the items actually were, because that was it. We did see it continue to use an only 90% accurate move.
Yeah.
When it had a 100% accurate move, and presumably whatever its steel move was.
Yeah.
Unless does Azumaril get Steel Roller? Is it potential that maybe it only had access to it when there wasn't terrain?
Potentially. I don't know enough about Azumaril. I've been sleeping on it super hard. Chase keeps hyping it up to me, but I never believe in it. And then I watch these streams and I'm like, my God, it's doing so much.
Yeah, it really is doing a lot. So here we see the leads again. We got Porygon 2 and Rillaboom from Nibbs, and we got Porygon 2 and Incineroar from Amy, which, as we saw last game, those two put in a lot of work in this matchup.
Personally, if I was Amy right now, I mean, I don't know if Terrakion's in the back, but I would say that definitely that Azumaril is. She's brought it both games, and it's been doing a lot of work. I would just not even go for Trick Room. I would just double up into that Rillaboom.
Yeah, that Rillaboom is really standing between kind of her and her Azumaril's ability to really just sweep through. It does get Steel Roller, as we're seeing here in chat. So it's potential. I mean, the terrain was up, so it could have still gone for a Steel Roller on several of these turns.
If it had Steel Roller, like, wouldn't you, like, immediately go for that to get rid of the grassy terrain?
Yeah. So here we see a fake out from Rillaboom to go ahead and try and stop the cycling of parting shots and intimidates. But it's going to go ahead and eat an ice beam.
Yeah. It's like me and Amy are on the exact same page.
Yeah.
Just gotta I think the Rillaboom is what's causing her the most grief in this matchup.
I agree. Like, it is the most threatening thing on the field. So,
yeah, it's forcing you to play this kind of like log out, like stall game, so you can get rid of the terrain, but it can always just like switch back in and out. Like, two of your biggest sweepers are like super weak to it. That's like honestly what makes Rillaboom such a big threat, is that like we haven't had a lot of really great grass types this generation, so they ally switch.
Ally switch coming out from the Porygon too.
Gonna parting shot that Porygon.
Forget your download boost. You're now back at neutral and -1. Yeah, no, I think that we've really been struggling with a lack of decent grass types. As Tiki would say, the best grass type in the format for the first, until Venusaur was legal, was actually Gyarados.
Power with Gyarados, yeah. Okay, so Rillaboom U-turns out. On the positive side, this means that Azumaril kind of doesn't have anything threatening it right now.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And under Trick Room, it's going to be moving before this Lapras. So I wouldn't be too surprised by a Dynamax here from that Azumaril, maybe trying to go for a KO somewhere. I think the other thing is maybe it doesn't want to pick up a KO because it doesn't want to be in a position where it lets Rillaboom get back in and get that Grassy Glide.
Hey, who do you think's coming back in here?
My guess is going to be Incineroar.
The classic Azuda Incineroar.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see an Eerie Impulse into that Lapras, and I presumably a Ice Beam. Okay, Ice Beam into the Porygon too. Interesting. Yeah, Eerie Impulse
is the Lapras.
Yeah, that was so effective last game. This is really kind of unlike. I'd say very unlike the last two seasons. Kind of seasons 3 and season 4, we started to see a little bit more defensive play, but I'd say by and large, this whole entire meta has been defined by being offensive and going fast.
Shima, can I tell you what my dream is for the rest of this match?
I would love to hear your dream for the rest of this match.
I hope that they just end up rotating Pokemon and like lowering each other's stats and pressuring things and never actually Dynamaxing until we go to time. That would personally be a dream of mine.
Yeah, we're gonna see a defensive Porygon to Dynamax Max Guard to preserve the HP differential, and that's how this game went.
That's what I want so badly.
Yeah.
Ice Beam to Porygon too.
Going for the freezes.
Lash Out.
Interesting. So we see both of the Move Tutor moves on this Incineroar. That still does a pretty good chunk. It's also worth noting Lash Out's only 5 PP though.
Yeah, I think Burning Jealousy is the exact same way.
Yeah, so
which explains why this Incineroar has mostly just gone for parting shots and switch out. It seems to be that like it doesn't have like the right like attacks that it can just spam. Like you can spam Flare Blitz and Throat Chop or Darkest Lariat.
Yeah.
But you don't want an Incineroar who only has parting shot and fake out left on the field.
Exactly. Yeah, so presumably some defensive preserving of those moves coming from Amy. We're going to see another cycle here. More switching, more repositioning. Now Tyranitar's in, gonna set the Sandstorm.
Ice Beam Freeze. Alright, here's an Ice Beam into Porygon. Just getting some chip.
Yeah, just continue to get chip.
Burning Jealousy. Interesting, that means that Tyranitar cannot go for a Max Knuckle in front of that Incineroar.
Yeah, it really can't, because it will get frozen.
Freeze, 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 freeze!
Here we are, just rooting for freezes. Welcome to VGC Season 5.
I just honestly want to see what the funniest thing would be to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the funniest thing would be for one Porygon to freeze the partner, and then the other Porygon to freeze the other partner. So both the Porygons are sitting there, and everything else is frozen.
I want this game to turn into Porygon, Dynamax Porygon v Dynamax Porygon.
This is an interesting play here.
Ooh, this could be super risky, and
yeah,
potentially not even get you that much.
I think that Nibbs might be guessing that perhaps an Incineroar doesn't want to go for one of its 5 PP Burning Jealousies without Rillaboom on the field.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
So we will see how this goes.
Ally Switch, okay. Well, that could take care of a parting shot. Knuckle, getting an attack boost here. It does a solid amount of Porygon too.
That's a good chunk. Like, I don't think Porygon 2 is living another one of those without a recovery.
Yeah.
So let's
Ice
see.
Beam. Ooh. Oh god, I was so scared for Nibbs. Oh god, that would have been like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, to get frozen. I mean, he's frozen Amy twice in the last 2 games, so...
Yeah.
Don't know if that would be
maybe it all
karma.
balances out.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of freezing moves that have been that have been thrown out here, so...
Ooh, Terrakion coming in.
Oh, and this is right as the Trick Room expires, if I recall correctly.
No, I think did Trick Room go out? I didn't see the text for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But if Trick Room's still in place, then that's a dangerous positioning for that Terrakion.
Yeah.
My guess is if Trick Room is not currently in place, that we're going to see an Incineroar switch into that Porygon 2 spot. I think that's pretty safe with a close combat, if a Terrakion is even...
Yeah, close combat's a bit scarier. You may just go for... Well, I don't know. Do 2 Max Knuckles from Terrakion KO Tyranitar? With the... Tyranitar is just a big old punching bags for fighting moves. My favorite thing is to ever just straight drain punch it and watch it go down immediately.
Yeah, here we see that Incin switch in here to the Porygon 2 slot. So that is going to be back to a neutral positioning, and perhaps Amy has positioned herself. Terrakion goes for the Protect here.
Yeah, okay, that's solid. I like that.
Yeah.
Ally Switch, kind of pointless, but I mean, what else was Porygon 2 going to be doing that turn?
Yeah, exactly.
And here comes another Max Knuckle. Does about little less than half into the Incineroar, but I'd say that was solid. Like, you either kill the Porygon 2 or you invalidate the Intimidate from Incineroar.
Yeah, so the only problem now is Burning Jealousy. The only... if Nibbs has raised his attack the previous turn, would Burning Jealousy burn it this turn?
It's a new move, so I really don't know how it works.
I know that on Showdown, things like that have been bugged, where, say, like, Lash Out will continue to do double damage several turns into the future, rather than just the predefined turn. So I don't know. I guess we'll kind of see here the way this works.
Porygon's gonna switch out. Terrakion's gonna switch out for Azumaril.
And yeah, we see Lapras coming in
Rock
here.
Ball. And, well, okay, sweet. This is actually super good for Nibbs. And Incineroar's gone. That's definitely been, like, hindering him a lot. He doesn't have to worry about attack drops at all.
And now he's in a position where that Rillaboom will be able to come back in later and go for a Grassy Glide into the Terrakion or the Azumaril, depending on the positioning.
Yeah, so if, like, Nibbs can just successfully stall out Dynamax from Amy, I think Rillaboom should be able to, like, close it up fairly easily.
Yeah, it's that's a scary two to have to stall out Dynamax from. There's a lot of offense on Amy's side of the field.
Honestly, I don't know who you Dynamax in this position.
Yeah, given the rest of the set, I think I don't know. Maybe you want Terrakion, because you can go for the max Knuckle boosts and continue to boost that Azumaril. Like, a max Knuckle into a Play Rough is going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I might even go for Liquidation into that Tyranitar for fear of a Play Rough miss, because that would be... I mean, I assume that the max Knuckle is probably going into the Tyranitar, right?
You can max Knuckle Tyranitar, that'll definitely KO it. Like, the most it can do is protect. Oh, like... Amy's not even going to Dynamax, probably just going for close combat. Swords Dance! Ooh, that is risky!
Yeah. We'll see how this...
In front of a Lapras, Hydro Pump. Oh my god!
With the miss? Oh my...
No!
That is some rough luck. Amy was aggressive and was rewarded for being aggressive.
Oh my god!
Oh, that is... That feels bad if you're Nibbs right there. Because if that hit, that Terrakion was removed from the field pending a Focus Sash.
Yeah, it could have been Focus Sashed. It could... The Sandstorm was up, so its special defense was boosted. But it definitely, without argument, would have taken a solid chunk. That Hydro Pump miss was huge. And now Terrakion is on the field, +2.
Free to just go for Rock Slides.
Yeah, even just Rock Slide could potentially pick up a double KO.
Yeah, I think in that position you want maybe to Dynamax the Azumaril, but it seems like Amy's going to continue to position herself.
I would love it if she went for another Swords Dance. That'd be insane.
It would be.
Okay, close combat. Oh, into the Lapras.
Interesting. Okay. So that's definitely going to be enough to pick up the Lapras. Perhaps fearful of the Game 1 pair song.
Yeah, that is true. Now Rillaboom can come back in. I guess he doesn't go for that, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
What could be cool is baiting, like, trying to force Terrakion to Dynamax here. It could just close combat Porygon 2, to be honest.
Yeah, and just KO Porygon 2.
Yeah, like, you may not even need to Dynamax in this position.
Yeah, I think that, I think at this point, Amy has potentially picked up on Nibbs' pattern of protecting that Tyranitar turn 1, trying to bait the Max Knuckle for the Weakness Policy proc. I don't think that she's going to fall for it here, although she is at +2, and, you know, nothing on the field, it doesn't want to eat a superpower from a Tyranitar.
Yeah.
Looks like we're not
no Dynamax again, just going for the close combat into Porygon 2. Honestly, I think that's really smart and, like, super safe.
Yeah, I think that was very safe. But we do have to note that Terrakion is now -2 on both its defense and special defense. So a Grassy Glide will KO it, I think.
Definitely, like 100%.
Will it KO it through Dynamax is the only question.
Honestly, Rillaboom, I would say that it could. It's -2 defense, so you're basically hitting it with, like, a 4 times effective move.
Yeah.
what might be a fairly safe play from Amy is to like either max guard. Well, max guard probably wouldn't be the best one because you don't want to like protect Terrakion and go for an ice beam, and hope that KOs. Wait, oh my god, I just saw what Nibbs went for, and I do not agree with it at all.
Yeah, I don't agree with this play.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he was just like reading into what she was doing, but so yeah, there's superpower.
Yeah.
And here comes Ice Beam.
Just gonna do a good chunk to that Rillaboom and have the threat of freezing.
Yeah. So honestly, you could even just like switch out Terrakion. Like you could just sack it, right? Or you could switch it out, sack Azumaril, Ice Beam again, and there's not really a whole lot that Nibbs can do about that.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Yeah, Grassy Glide for sure. Protect. I get it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I am afraid that I think Nibbs might be losing his only way through this. Cause
Razi, I agree that was definitely like relying on greedy play. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, there's that. What are we gonna? Yeah, it wasn't Focus Sash, so Amy's just a lunatic.
Wow, call it out. Yeah, I'm very surprised that didn't Dynamax sooner.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, in a 1v1, who do you want to be, Azumaril or a Tyranitar?
Well, I mean, Tyranitar's got to get through both this Porygon 2 and the Azumaril, and I just don't think he can do it.
Yeah, I guess your main hope is a lot of misses over there on Play Rough.
Hasn't Amy not Dynamaxed yet? You can just go for it.
Yeah, you just go for, yeah, you're right, just Dynamax that Starfall. Maybe she was listening and,
yeah, she heard.
Yeah, maybe she's listening, wants to Dynamax the Porygon 2 to, go ahead and give us what we were wanting before. But, yeah, I think here we'll just see that Azumaril with the max Starfall.
Oh. Man, that Sword Stamp play was just insane.
Yeah, that was wild. But I mean, I guess really Amy's win condition was always, get Rillaboom off the field, and then what else can take care of this Azumaril? If you get Rillaboom, you get Lapras off the field. Not a lot can do a whole lot. Yeah, and she's just gonna go for the max Steel Spike, which is even smarter than say like a max Starfall.
Yeah. So. GG's to both Amy and Nibbs. That Sword Stance reveal was honestly insane. Like oh my god, that is gonna stay with me mentally for like the rest of the week.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible.